7:02. We definitely have quorum now. So we'll get underway. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Oakland Mills Community Association Village Board of Directors. We're going to start with our usual two administrative items, the first being approval of the minutes from the May 26, 2026 board meeting. I'll take a motion to approve from Andrew. Is there a second to that motion?
Dan and
Or you, Jonathan, you can second.
Come on, someone wake up.
Jonathan, you can second.
That looks like
There goes
Dan.
Dan.
That looks like Dan. Okay, I'll take a second from Dan. Any discussion of those minutes? All right, all in favor of approving? 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0. Okay, next up is approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there I'll take a motion to approve from Andrew. I'll take a second from Paulette. Is there any discussion of tonight's agenda? Okay, all in favor of approving? 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0. There was the popcorn. Okay, next we have resident remarks. Anyone wishing to make remarks gets 3 minutes per speaker. We have Lewis signed up in the room here to make remarks. Is there anyone online who wanted to make remarks? Online going once, online going twice. Sold.
Gavel.
You're only one.
Gavel.
Sold. Start when you're ready.
Yeah, so I guess I just would like to ask the board what is happening, and I apologize, I couldn't make it last meeting, so it may have already been discussed, but what is happening with regard to the CA representation, and what is the board doing, and what can the board do? I guess those are the questions. Yeah.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just going to do part of my board chair report right now.
Okay.
So some of this is recap, some of this is new, and then some of this we're just not going to talk about in open meeting.
Okay.
That's why we've been having closed sessions, because there are lawyers involved.
Yeah.
So what I can say in open meeting is we on, I believe it was May 7th, May 8th? What was that first Friday in May? Let's look at the calendar.
Yeah, something.
Sometime in the single digits of May.
Right.
I received May 8th. I received a letter from CA's general counsel, John Kuchno, basically saying that the CA board had taken action to remove Karen from the CA board of directors, and so we don't go without representation. Basically, please do something and send us a new board member. And we didn't actually feel, because of the way CA handles things versus the way the village handles things, and the fact that the villages are responsible for electing, we didn't actually feel that we were in any legal position to do anything. So, obviously we did not respond quickly to that one. Since that time, we have secured counsel, which is why we've been having some closed meetings at the end of each session. And last week, Brigida and I worked with our attorney on drafting a response back. And effectively what the response says is there's actually open litigation right now as to the question of whether the 3 members were rightfully removed from the CA board. So our response to CA is OMCA is not going to take any action until those legal questions are resolved, because any action we take in any direction, could potentially be moot and just would come at extra cost and stress and everything else to us. So, we're in a holding pattern, but because of what our bylaws say, and because of the role we play in the process, we still consider Karen to be our Columbia Council representative. So she's not seated on the CA board of directors now, which is technically a different entity, but she's still our Columbia Council representative, which is what kind of puts us in this, I guess, pickle, for lack of a better term, twilight zone right now, right? Right. So that's where things are.
So I guess my only comment to that is, knowing the way the legal system works, and I have several lawyers in my family and a judge, so I'm very familiar with the legal system, although not Maryland. to resolve this through the courts will take 1 or 2 years. So are you saying that we will have no representation on the board for maybe 2 years? Up to 2 years until this lawsuit is settled? Is that your
can't say.
decision?
I can't say.
You can't say.
I won't say.
You won't say.
I won't say.
You won't say.
No.
And then can I ask one, after my 3 minutes, so I can ask one more question?
I will say this.
Yeah.
One of the things we've talked about in here and we intend to do is we are obviously tracking what CA is doing, what CA is considering, you know, anything they're doing that could, you know, potentially affect the villages that we want to weigh in on.
Right.
We do intend on sending a elected member of our board to, you know, speak to CA using the organizational time available
Right.
during speak out at the beginning of the meeting. And of
Right.
course, we can always, you know, correspond with the CA president, the CA
Right.
board, et cetera,
Right.
anytime we need to. So Oakland Mills, we're not saying Oakland Mills will not represent itself to CA.
Yeah.
What the status of us having a person sitting at the table with Oakland Mills under their name on the placard is that's what I can't and won't comment on, because we're working with an attorney. The 3 members are working with an attorney. They're attorneys everywhere.
Right. Well, I know that. Believe me, I know that. And I know attorneys are expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about the expense. But I'm more worried about us not having any representation. Because yes, you can go at the speak out, but there's no voting member representing Oakland Mills. There's no official vote for Oakland Mills, which I find a little bit disturbing to me personally.
We do too.
And I'm wondering, does the board have the authority to call a special election and elect a temporary replacement? That's, you know, I don't know if that's in your purview or not, but I think that's something you might ask your lawyer.
That I won't comment on that.
Okay.
I'll share public information.
Sure.
So Louis, there's a hearing on the 17th of June.
Right.
The 3 ousted members have filed an injunction,
Right.
and there'll be a hearing on the injunction on the 17th at the courthouse.
Right.
So-
Exactly, yeah. But there won't be a decision. You know how the law goes. There'll be some real.
There may or may,
Then there'll be an appeal, then there'll be another suit, then there'll be another appeal.
That's very possible. That's very
You
possible.
know,
But
like I said,
there
I've
is a
got several
hearing, yeah.
lawyers in my family, so I know how these things go. You know, these things won't be settled by June 17th.
So I would encourage you to go to the board meeting. CA has its next board meeting on June 25th.
Yeah, but I can't vote. I can sit there
No,
and
but you
talk,
can
but I
talk.
can't
You can
vote.
use your 3 minutes to talk and let those board members that are there know that they should follow the charter, they should follow the bylaws, even the
Well-
ethics policies that they're so good at quoting. If they follow those 3 policies and put us back where we rightfully
Well,
belong.
that would
So-
obviously be the right thing. I hear you, but they've been told that ad nauseum, and one more person saying it isn't going to change anything. That's my own personal opinion, but I hear you. Okay, I hear you. Okay. I'll shut up now. My 3 minutes are long overdue. So
Okay.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. Like I said, I was going to cover parts of this in the board chair report
Okay.
anyway,
Okay. All right.
because that primarily was my board chair report.
Fair enough.
And we actually don't have any, there were no business items on tonight's agenda
Oh, wow.
because we covered a lot.
So we're glad
less
you showed
time
up,
and
Louis.
we focused on one thing. Yeah.
I wish
It's-
I could have come last month. I couldn't come.
It's one of those, you know, where it's spring and, you know, there's not a ton going on right now type meetings.
Yeah.
So that's taken care of. Okay, so board chair report. So I covered what I was going to say publicly anyway. We did through our attorney send a response to CA's attorney, as well as the CA board chair and president. And I pretty much covered what that had to say. We as a board will talk about a couple of other things that came up in the back and forth with our attorney in a closed session. I think it'll be a relatively brief closed session tonight, but I want to keep everyone informed. The other thing I have, there was I believe only people in the immediate proximity of the middle school got like the flyers or the mailers for this, but there was a meeting last week at Oakland Mills Middle School just to kind of explain what's going on with the construction and everything. It's nothing new. I mean, it's the same plan that they showed us here when we had the community meeting. A lot of people's, I saw on social media, were kind of disappointed they didn't know about it and wanted to know more and were worried they missed it and everything and are asking when there's going to be another one. So I actually just took that thick, planning document from 2024 and stuck it out there on one of the Oakland Mills related social media sites where people were asking and said, here, this, I know this is not exactly what they presented at the meeting because they probably had a flashy PowerPoint and everything, but this is going to tell you what they're doing there, right? It's it's the 2-story addition. It's the separate, the separate loop that's going to separate the buses from the cars, and then the rest will be restored as fields when it's all said and done. And obviously, you can see that the shell of a 2-story building has gone up, so they're making progress.
Making good
Yeah.
progress.
So there's nothing, if anyone was wondering, there was nothing like new and exciting, no big reveals or anything like that. It was just, I think, another one of those, milestone meetings where, if it's in a village, they have a community meeting at the village before they break ground, and then after they've broken ground, they'll have a meeting at the school for the immediate neighbors, and it just goes from there. So that's all that was. And then the only other thing I had was just, I guess we did all see the news about Bob Burlett. So, just on behalf of OMCA, want to offer condolences to his family. If for those of you who maybe didn't get a chance to meet Bob, he was the longtime co-chair of our election monitoring committee. It was the two Bobs, Bob Bertolo and Bob Burlett, and they were like I don't know, were they Laurel and Hardy? What comedy act were they? they were like a comedy act. Bob was a very funny guy and a great guy and dedicated a lot of time to Oakland Mills. So he'll be missed. And that's, unless there were questions for me, those are the things that have been on my radar since we last met.
I don't have anything.
Nothing?
Well, the board met on May 14th and they don't meet again until June 25th.
That's true.
So
Yeah. Okay.
there's really not a lot going on.
All right.
I
Very
mean,
good.
there probably is stuff going on, but I am sadly not privy to that.
Okay. Brigida's always got something.
Yep.
Well, I do, and you should have it.
I got it.
You should have the fourth quarter financials along with the variance memo. And as I'm sure you saw, because we didn't do our painting, we are giving $24,000 back to CA.
Youch.
Yeah, so I'm going to be keeping track of that since it's supposed to be going to an environmental project.
There
And
you
I
go.
do know that Danielle has been really good with that and had some other projects, so I will be staying on top of. It's a real shame we couldn't use it this fiscal year for the painting, but logistically it just didn't work out. So Debbie was back. She looked really good. I don't know if you remember, she had had a stroke. She's doing great.
Great.
And so, and as you know, this is her last bit of work she will be doing
Oh,
for us, which that is later on in my report. But so that's the big one, the annual charge share that we will be returning. All of the other ones were pretty expected. Utilities, we were $13,000 over, all due to that exuberant gas and electric bills. And mainly it was all three facilities, January, February, March. Ellen and I were looking at each of them because I've been keeping a tally of them. And I mean, those 3 months are just astronomical. So that's where that came from. And then the operating expense and the repairs and maintenance, the difference in those is I had been putting the pest control under operating expense fees, but was told to recategorize it into repairs and maintenance for building. So that's why there's that discrepancy. And then let me know if you have any other questions.
What would it have cost us to paint if we had been able to
So I believe the quote I was given, and I have to double check, but I feel like it was $14,000. That was the estimate.
All right.
And with the way we have it set up now is, we're working with one of CA's contractors. And so they will pay for it up front. It must have been 14,000, and then we will have to pay half of it back. So ultimately we'll pay 7,000. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of something else. Yeah. I can do that, Matt. Yeah.
See, to me, this is an example of something that's probably ripe for further discussion next time the management contract comes up, because
Yes. It comes up
you know,
every time.
when you're talking many thousands of dollars, whether we're splitting it or covering the whole, so $7,000 to $14,000, right? We go into the year, you know, we have a budget. We think we have a balanced budget. We have to account for things that may or may not happen, like a $10,000 election, you know, legal fees, stuff like that. And then we start getting through the year and we realize kind of close to the end that some of those things aren't going to happen. But you can't then just shut the building down and paint it on a whim, because we have events booked, you know, like a
Right.
year out. So it does seem to me that it would make sense for both us and CA to have a conversation about that next management contract around, look, if we have a certain amount and we want basically to invest in the facility, which is beneficial to both the village and CA, you know, maybe something can be worked out where those funds don't have to be obligated and dispersed before the end of the current fiscal year.
Well, and they did address it, sort of, during the last negotiations, but the negotiation that they came to was that if we know that we're going to want to paint the building, let's say 3 years, we're going to do a whole, we can budget each year, and I think that's some sort of what we're doing with the $7,000, but not exactly, because I wasn't thinking like, what are we going to have to do in the next few years? When I looked at it, I was like, okay, well, how do I know that I'm going to need to budget for 3 years?
Mhm.
So in that final year, when I'm doing the painting, I've been budgeting for it all along.
What do they ask? Are they asking you to set up like like you'll hold that money over each year?
And that's what I don't exactly know, Karen, because
That is how CA does some of their budgeting. It should be changing under Sean McCollum, where they'll say, oh, I need to make a repair to the ice rink. I'm going to ask the board to approve $3 million, but I'm only going to ask them for $1 million this year. Then I'm going to ask them for $1 million next year. And I'm going to come back on the third year and ask for the final third, which I don't know. I don't like that kind of accounting.
well, and even with
that's how they were
the
doing it.
financial review, it's that same, like when asked about it, because we're supposed to be able to do the same thing, like budget for our every 3-year audit, we're supposed to be able to budget for it each year.
Mhm.
So let's say, but for the review, what I was told when I asked about it, and other village managers were asking about it too, they said, well, you pay for the review, and then provided everything goes okay, then we'll reimburse you the money for the review. So it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to
Right.
any of us, but it's currently the system that was put in place with the last, because we felt exactly
Right.
what Jonathan's saying, like we want to be able to plan for these things and not take it all
Yeah,
out of.
but somehow if we do that, it has to be explicitly somehow shielded from the cap, right? Like it should be in
Right,
its
that's
own.
what I was.
It should be in its own
It
line
should be
item or
on
something.
its an own,
Yeah,
and its own line item.
Yeah.
Yes.
but CA kind of dictates what the line items are,
Yes.
so we basically need them to okay a new line item for that sort of thing. And then if they want to come in and audit that we actually did, I mean, we get audited anyway, but you know, obviously we'd be honest about it. But right now, it's all kind of fungible. So how do you say what's kind of exempt from the cap?
Well,
That's the part I don't understand.
and with the audit too. So when they told us that we were between the audits and the reviews, that was a big thing when we were having the negotiation. You know, what a review consists of and what an audit consists of. But until you actually get the pricing for them, you don't know what the CPAs are going to be charging you. So then we found out what the CPAs are going to be charging us. And that line that says, we'll reimburse you provided there's no, I guess, large errors. that we could get it back or we could not. So it's, and then I think even, and I'm not going to remember the exact items or line items that I was told, but I checked with Debbie with the painting. So how do I account for that? And how do I account for the auditing? Because basically they cross themselves out, but how do I account for that? I think when I was doing the budget, I had to do that. So it's definitely something that needs to be more straightforward.
Okay,
I would agree with that.
okay.
The painting, it just got delayed a little bit of, is that's, if I remember correctly, is that what?
Yeah, so we wanted to do it in
April, but it got delayed.
but the weeks that we had
Yeah.
and they said they were gonna need 3 full weeks, whereas when CA originally had the painters come and do the estimates, they were thinking, even CA thought it was gonna be like a week to 2 weeks, but the painters, both of the companies said they needed at least 3 weeks. Well, we didn't have 3 weeks where we didn't have any
Right,
events
right.
taking place, so.
Did it get delayed to the fall or something?
We
like
blocked
that?
off November, 3 weeks
Okay.
in November,
Okay.
yeah. I don't think there's anything else.
All right, sorry, and I kind of deviated from the matter at hand. So were there any questions from members of the board on the fourth quarter financials?
No.
Okay, just looking up there. Nope, okay. Would anyone care to make a motion to approve the fourth quarter financials as submitted? I'll take a motion from Andrew. I'll take a second from Dr. Dan. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving? 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0. All right. And now the operations update.
Okay, the village manager's report, nothing too new. We have our Jazz in the Mills event featuring an Oakland Mills, and I put HD, it should be high school. I don't know why it says HD.
He's in high def now.
Alum, Benji Parecki, so he'll be here this Sunday. And Amy is working on the pool party, which is scheduled for Monday, August 3rd. And tickets should be available soon. Last week, we all wore our play clothes and we did a massive cleaning of our building. It was a lot of fun. We got pizza.
It's lots of fun because you get rid of stuff.
We did.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, so now I'm waiting for my son to take it all to the Goodwill in the dump, so. And then I'm sure that you all have seen Save the Date for July 19th. I know I might miss some people who are on vacation, but that was the only next date, that Sunday, that we had available for our staff board picnic, which will be here at the other barn. And just a couple of things since then, since I gave this report to Amy, actually, online you'll see there is Rory Lawson. She is an Oakland Mills High School alumni, graduated with my son. She is currently doing, she's at the University of Cincinnati. She's in her 5th and final year, and she's doing her capstone project. Rory, I don't know if you're there, if you want to say a quick something just to say what you're doing. She's looking for volunteers, community residents who might want to
She's in her final year?
participate. Yes.
How old am I?
Oh, she is there.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi. I guess I could have said something during the resident remarks, but I didn't know if that was like reserved for like, specific things. But yeah, I am working on my capstone project where we kind of got to choose the topic. And I wanted to do something with Columbia and Oakland Mills because I grew up here and I'm very familiar with the area. And I know that there's like a history to Columbia as like a planned community. And I kind of was interested in exploring like, do residents today really know about that, or like how familiar are they with that? And my major is communication design, so our projects are like graphic design related. So I just wanted to explore how like using the trails that connect Columbia. I'm specifically focusing on the trail that goes from the Oka Mills Village Center down to the town center. How could I create certain interventions that would encourage community members to reflect on these values through those shared spaces? So yeah, I'm kind of looking to collect different insights, I guess, from people in the community, people heavily involved in the community about Columbia and Oka Mills, and its identity and like your relationship to the community. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense.
I kind of put her on the spot.
does.
Sorry, Rory, but I figured this was a good opportunity for you. So sorry
No, it's
about
okay. And thank you so much for doing that.
And I've been interviewed by Rory. She's a very good
that.
interviewer.
You used to be on the what?
The scroll.
Yeah.
The scroll.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't-
So how can we help? How can we help you? What are you asking of us?
Um, if any of you would be interested in having a conversation with me, that would be great. Um, it would probably just be like it can be quick, 20 to 30 minutes. Um, or if you know of anyone else I could talk to, that would be helpful, that I could connect with. Or maybe any documents or anything like that could be like interesting for me to take a look at for my research. That'd be great. I can also
Rory,
like, yeah.
have you looked at the Columbia archives online? There's actually an online archive. If you go to the Columbia Association website there and just search on archive, and you'll find a whole bunch of stuff. If you
Yeah,
want
I was
documents,
looking through there, but I didn't know. It seemed like I had to request to view certain things, so I
that's
wasn't sure
probably
how.
true.
To-
So I
Yeah,
know somebody who has access to a lot of founding documents for Columbia. And
okay.
if you send Brigida your contact info, if she has your contact information and she shares it with me,
Hmm.
I will set up a time for you to talk to this person and he will show you everything he's got.
Okay, yeah, that
Want
would
to
be
look at some
awesome.
documents that are probably in the archives, but he has a personal collection that he got a couple years ago. So
She should.
That's
Please.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's Dr.
We,
Jervis.
we may also have information archived here in our minutes from when, um, there were presentations about the development of the multi-use path.
Yep.
Because
Hmm.
there were a lot of village board interactions as that was being planned and then executed. So maybe we can, I know we don't have a fantastic, wonderful way of searching our minutes, but
Well, I can do
we
it
could
on
probably
my
find some
computer.
stuff. Yeah,
And I have it all
yeah.
on my computer. So
Yeah, no, I mean, other than like Control F, but
Yeah.
I guess things have
I don't
improved a
know,
little
it's not
bit.
a really good search engine.
Rory, how about this? How about also if Brigida shares your contact information with members of the board, and then those of us who, can give you some time, we could just reach out to you directly and say, yeah, I'm happy to talk to you. Let's set up a time.
Yep.
Would that work
Yeah,
for you?
yeah, that'd
Okay.
be great.
And if you want, um, I'd be hesitant to put Rory's information public, but could we like put something more general, like there's a, you know, Oakland Mills alum completing a final year, college
Capstone
capstone
Yeah.
project, looking to talk to residents, please basically contact the village office if you'd like your information shared with her, and that way we're not giving out anyone's
Yeah.
information.
Is that okay, Rory? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm happy to do that.
perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This is the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, next, because as you know, Debbie will be leaving next Wednesday. Of the many managers who were using Debbie as their accountant, we do have a Zoom meeting with an accounting firm that Steve over at Harper's Choice had the initial conversation with. And then we also, there's I believe another accountant is also providing a statement of work, but we haven't set up a meeting with her yet. so I'll keep everybody posted, but just so you know that.
Okay,
Okay.
And that's all I have.
sounds good. I'm just
Pretty
glad she's
good.
doing well.
Yes, me too.
All right. So as we often do, my device would like to restart outside of active hours. I'm active, just leave me alone. As we often do when we know we're going to have a closed session, we're going to do the bulletin board now so that anyone who doesn't care to stick around and wait for the outcome of the closed session doesn't have to. You can just watch the recording later. So let's go straight to the bulletin board. Amy, anything?
No, I don't have anything.
No? I don't have any.
I don't have
bulletin
anything
board
tonight.
material?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Ooh, we are a quiet group.
Paulette? It's a quick meeting tonight.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Dr. Dan?
I ain't got shit.
Well, that's a positive, right? That actually means you have something.
Before you get close.
Now I'm thinking of Spaceballs again.
I do put on the YouTube video when I post this
Uh-huh.
that it's not appropriate for kids.
Well,
I'm doing my best to make sure it stays that way.
An SFW.
it's okay. I let one of those go at the FAB meeting last night. Anyway, all right. So this real other than announcing the outcome of the closed session, this really is going to conclude our open business. I do have to share why we are going into closed session, assuming that we do vote in the affirmative to do that. And the reason for going into closed session tonight under Maryland HOA law would be section 4, consultation with staff, personnel, consultants, attorneys, or other persons in connection with pending or potential litigation. So is there a motion to close our session? It's a motion from Andrew. Is there a second? I got a second. From Dan. Okay, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that Paulette's? 4. Okay, they're moving around again. Okay, and Bill is not here. All right, so that vote was taken at 7:34 p.m. Motion by Andrew, second by Dan. Okay, so if you're not everyone to my left, one person to my right, or Dr. Pierce or Paulette online, we're going to ask that you step out for now. We're going to close the wall. If you're out there, we're going to put you in the waiting room. As I said, you're welcome to wait. We will open everything back up and announce the outcome when we